Ajana or Ajana too.
Yes. Charlie, it's not easy.
No, Charlie.
And I feel for the market women. You know, the stress they go through to get the food items to the market, to set up, to sit in the heat and the filth. Which, by the way, I blame them sometimes because the filth, honestly, they can control it.
But you see, again, I think that, yes, while you blame them, you know, they should take part of the blame. But every market has a management. And I believe that if the market is complete in its processes, some of these excesses will not happen. My grandmother sold in the market, at Kanishi Market. She sold fish. And the story is the fact that they used to sell in their stalls. Kanishi had not overflown like it did. My mom also worked within the markets as a revenue collector for AMA. And you will find that they have revenue or sanitary sites within the markets. I don't know how things degenerated, but it's gotten to the point where even the people who sell, they actually don't care about what's happening around them. I mean, as a boy, when I used to go and, you know, shop, you'd be given the list, you go and shop at Kanishi Market. You'd get to a tomato seller and she would tell you to hold on. She is sweeping her environment to gather the field. It doesn't happen.
You don't see that anymore. They set up in the field.
In the field. And then you also find that the sanitary sites that are provided. So a case in point is Kanishi Market. The communities around Kanishi Market, Awudome, all those places, do not have their sanitary sites. When I say sanitary site, where as kids you go and carry your ball and go and drop it. Most of those sanitaries, the sanitary site at Kanishi, for example, is being converted to an office complex. It's under construction. The one at Awudome. So people are now supposed to subscribe to revenue collection companies, and pay. Most of them say they can't afford it. So then they have to carry their refuse from their homes and bring them all the way to the Kanishi Market sometimes. So now the community is competing with the market over the same small receptacle for filth. So every day you go to a market like Kanishi Market and you find right at the entrance a mountain of filth. And it is not just Kanishi Market. Malamata, same. Nima Market, same. Everywhere.
Crazy. But who's teaching them personal hygiene? Sometimes I feel like they should also want to learn themselves. And I'm saying this because when we went to the market, there was a woman that I interacted with. She sells fish. And we know that fishes always attract flies. What do you do about it? That's why there's bobo. You have to turn on the fire so it will drive them away. Had she done that? No. Well, and the flies were just hovering around. It's literally sitting on the fish. Someone is going to come and buy it. If nobody buys your fish, you complain and say it's government because prices have gone up. But what are you also doing to also ensure that your environment is clean to an extent?
You know,
and for me, that was where my problem was.
That conversation is multidimensional. One, the flies will introduce whatever to the fish, so the fish will rapidly rot in a very short time. That's the first one. So they will end up losing. The second part is the disincentive that you talk about, people may not buy. The third aspect is the price of kerosene. If she has to use bobo, she has to use kerosene. For the bobo, kerosene prices have shot up just like petrol and diesel. So oftentimes we talk about petrol prices have gone up, diesel prices have gone up. We don't talk about kerosene and LPG, which is also part of the mix, and which prices have also gone up. So if she used to buy, say, a quantum of kerosene, this much, to last her the whole day, to light her bobo, maybe at 3 cedis or 4 cedis or 5 cedis. Now it's gone up. So, question again, how much is she making from the fish? And how much is she going to use for the bobo? How much is she going to pay the market authorities unfailingly who come to her for? And what is the market authorities themselves doing in terms of fumigating the place so that the flies, you know, are warded off? All those conversations come to play.
There are alternatives.
See, there are alternatives.
I mean, yes, you cannot buy kerosene, but don't you have, you know, those netty plastics that you can put over it? Or some people even cover it with lace cloth. So you can still see the fish, but it's covered.
The way our markets are, I mean, that's the point. But the way our markets are structured, even with both fruit sellers, there's a certain kind of a display mentality. So people will see that, awojala, mashedra, then they can come. Yeah. Like how the girls these days hip their breast.
It's okay. So then people can buy. Let's go to the market. At this point, let's go and speak to the market women. I don't know how.
It's okay. Relatability.
In this conversation. Take a look. Watching TV3Newday, we're here at the Nima market, here to speak to some market women to tell us what kind of challenges they're facing, especially with the sale of food items. As we all know, inflation rates have gone up and food is one of the contributing factors. Food is as high as 26.6% in terms of contributing to the 23.6% inflation rate, which is the highest that we've recorded in the last 18 years. We've been told that Planting for Food and Jobs has been extremely successful by the Agric Minister. The President says that we become a net exporter of food because we increase maize production in the country by 110%, rice production by some 48%. Is this really reflecting on the markets? Because we've heard from the Peasant Farmers Association who are saying that we need to review Planting for Food and Jobs. Chamber of Agribusiness also predicted that there was going to be some food crisis or shortage based on some research they had done. So they said they spoke to the ministry, told them to manage the situation better so we don't end up in the situation that we found ourselves in towards the end of last year where there was food shortage, leading to the Agric Ministry announcing that we're going to ban the exportation of some food items and grains in the market. Now let's speak to these women, especially this woman in particular, because she sells condo.
My fund is 6.5. Last week 6 million. This week 6.5. It cost 7 million. Yellow corn here 7.5. I say I have fun.
Now we are there because just I want to say what Tom microphone. Just I want to price.
Me price cost just a paint rubber blue I wo. Yellow shiny first 10 cedi, half 5 cedi. Say shiny 35 cedis. Yellow corn shiny 40 cedi. Banchimori shiny 20 cedi. Bibi akosro. Utumiton we empona scanner anso. Just a usubedi.
Na mo yede na mo survive wa market ha because enyoma akosro sa na nkrofo bombe complaining.
Omo de ba kwapa mo complain na ya yeso yekoto ba yeso ye complaining.
Ya oba asan beto wo hon
Complaining.
Mo yede mo nya mo profit.
Bibi kitue bi pe na da so bibi kitue bi. To say me say minimum 50 pesos ni 20 pesos. First moko no say me kita 500 Ghana cedi metumi ayam. Ba say obeya me wie ni abewie ko efe say 1,005. 1,005 any aba wo de be ka wan say obeya mama na ye papa. 1,005 ka first me 5 million, that's 500 Ghana na ma yamoko but say I won get 1,005 untumi yamoko
na chese won so beton butter chance ne
me top butter chance no 12 cedis
first now turn the same
first na 18 7 cedis
chese ne bo akosro
1,005 no what 1,005 no kapo enso sika no
na when you now beton ewie wa spend best 1,005 wo profit
bibi kitu e bi sanya me ambem kwapa not even get even 1 peso akrampo na maboka.
You are kidding. Sometimes you don't even make 1 peso.
Serious my dear because 1,005 we be share the way that ben obenya offenses can because obi babeka to say 12 cedis no onto until open 8 cedis open your friend is 5 cedis and it can be possible.
So you sell it like that?
I will not sell it like that because me lose.
Until now won so say wo ton nam na nam so ne bo
Nam no boy dia cost pa a kire se omo ko fishing no se omo ba omo kire se petrol nti e ma nam boy dia kire se omo increase petrol no at times omo ko na omo nya nam na omo abasa the following days omo ko na omo nya na omo di sa petrol scan account nti e bia ye ton 7 cedi say sa ko 14 Uber ton 15 e bia 1 cedi at times pra na 1 cedi for no bi to Obinto ebia ensanso a ti se udi kocha fridge mu enye ye a ochina na wa beton sa won attempts ya lose attempts ebia 1 cedi na obenya tam be wie kura na wontumi nya bibia kofi
wo a uton na wote say yes am cry ton market so fish no ye de bi free ama no ne ba wate unim say ye de bi free ama no bra ye we po wa ha ye war rivers and idea was say nya fish no wa ha China for ne
ye nam no e de ama China for say Ghana for to me ye nam and see China for ne yi e na omuton Ghana for
anti won so kasa den wo ka fa ho
kasa se sadia petrol no mo atum no ya ko mo cho no mo yusu mai se petrol no ba fon kakra no mo so atisu kakra na so petrol no was throw so mo kwa no mo nya nam no mo aluzu nti pressure no mo di bia no mo di tu nam no so Wow.
Ejuma nanado ene ne panyimfo no mo aye efa aduane ho e wo kro ha so no mo SSMoni
Yeah, o hwe se de ni down say e be so be yama no enyo no na o yama ye
mo ni da ho so be den
ni down say chese o ka chese nto no obebu ohiafo na Ghana be da ma se Ghana anyu ti se akutu a wutwa enye de ba Ghana anyu akasa 11 abebo so 11 abebo so enti Ghana enjuma esa
o se aduane bebre wo ho last year kan se sisi ade ya dua aduane ma na ba bebre
e wo afuo be mu na aduane na ba omunya sika top fertilizer first omu kire se first fertilizer no joma matam na odi ma omu ama omu di ye afuo sesi o kompo na okitesika unya nto na odi akoye afuo no.
Mo say COVID na eba ye nti na fertilizer na ye bre because countries na nke wo say omo de ebre ye.
And still COVID near.
My dear, me ton gender every year bia say do April, say be di Easter. Gender kotoko ye to me ton 2.2. Now so wait me at paint rubber 10 cedis. Obia to me be edi, but this year gender am back 2.2 da. They say I told gender kotoko 6 million. Card the be 7 million. Kaya yo be funny when na cost 6 AFN say
220 Ghana cedis too.
My dear, this year I'm banisa.
2000 Ghana cedis and not 220. Na afa de motor on 6
million. Kaya ni EFN say kan ni nyina. Nti nyame ma ye dia ma ye bre ye hu so kra ye hu so nti ye pa fence ye papa chew ye nim so obetumi aye nti na ye de ne ba ye drivers no they are complaining anytime omu to petrol mu pe omu so obetu omu hwe ye din sa na eso ye faka na ye kofa ne ma na ye de ba nti wankasa hwe can you believe say ye betumi reduce ye fence ne ama no it can be possible
then I work can for 11 who because me sure say okoto nyama na enye de bia na okra sika sometimes no person wutua say moto nyama mutua wo
say ameyi mi sika
we you sika ade
percentage na da so mintu ya sika po menye bi pondi na me sa de sa dodo no esa de ama fence yin
see yentua tax ya mu bebre no yentua tax inti na ye de 11 na aba no
market every day bia mu twa ye ticket 1 cedi every day bia won nti se we egusu se ansan ochina mu ba sa abatwa de bia 1 week is insan na we do fridge mu na we yi ton every day bia utua won nti sa se ne ya tua no tax ni mu a e kire se ye ntua omu ma ye nhadwa omu be diska won nti e panu ton on ye bibi ma ye na ye bread do
na omu see 11 no ya see ye road sin papa yen so a yes yen young people ni nye adwuma nye it is a mo see yen fix road yen nye adwuma 11 na ye betua ne
ekromu a sabiu property be na e wo okromu a ye wo koko ye wo timber ye wo diamond prekes even prekes po ekrobi ni prekes so Ghana ye wo prekes enti de na eche se ji se 11 sika kaya yo na me fika so a me na out here 310 cedi 1 cedi na me meba no me amesa asua me nyama nya se government on na me ba gi duani ska o enti me 11 no e na de be roadside and they say Ghana yen chana e ma esika.
What is your fear? Is it that unbelief say sika na ombeji no omde be ye ni omuso mbe ya
no fa nya hwe koko sika anya dam sika anya timber sika anya 11 enya hwe
also unbelief say omde be
da ya ma kese po ma fa nya hwe na ye fe ni say ye sika na omde be ya bibi
we be more than 4 years afa de no de we tumi aya ma ya biom misa mi sika ma yi nyina shi ni so e kire se wo so kra mi ko yi na ya ati afri mu mi ntumi yes aduma
na waye ade ana onye ade
mi de mi woni bibia waye
oh free SHS na se mo ba ko school
ya sam na be boss ye on buy no sister na number ye no ye manu mu ko SS no sister se bi o edwa wo chese nyama no mu ye mre enti say bedu etem na obetua SS is 6 million satan 5 million 4 million na waton wenya na tama odi free education ba ye na okwa ememe ba wakọ free education mitonyama 28 million na tama eye tua ka no mitonyama 7 million na chirempo no aban no mamempa o mamenyama Emma me to provision 7 million. Second one kwa me to 28 million. Third one kwa almost 32 million. And now Saturday PTA. Yet you ask her, just say, omu yanyama baby school mu.
Ahina.
We see at you 1.5. Bubema Kolandria is coming to Onyama books are buy my school. Wama and Ramito book 1.5. Edicount and to say what your school fees 5 million. I buy Besham Obama Uba books, mebois. Obama Uba Nyama petty things be. Me first one meet your school fees to you. Your man tuma 12 years. Your man in pa. Even Sanders, your money 2 or the school money here. And so it's a matter Sanders 3. And this time is a free education here. Only film. No go nyamamu.
No, you free one. And kwalabe brewa wa omwe nyanko school ni binti na na say. And kwalabe no omote krasi ana baby omunya school nkono. So omun so at least free SHS buy no omwe school.
Free HSS buy no omwe school. It is a kwalani maami no only 2,000. Usi free only 2,000 on the better provision. Even Chobos, but this year Chobos here 5 million. 5 million. So tam first na me ban mu kono. Chobos here 1.5. Say Chobos here 5 million. Nini free say they can free education into no. Obia de ni bibia free. The oguni bibia so. If you better to akesha, obeto to padle kesi no. Udi be ko school. Ya ko loki ubanaju.
Oh, you go look up and say.
First, to Sanya Manini and count, and so Omunyati free Nintino, Bibia double. Sister anti free no, ye free now by Umaya Tua. What about time I will see free no. About now we answer I do.
Most more agree with free SHS and I say,
Ibo me who's
saying,
we are more running cram me who's. Anka first obi enim say August no ye call long vac but say me ba no mo makwa no mama kwan omo kwa no makọ nti bia me kese ni bisa nti mi wo mu keke na ye kọ
one makwa na so be fia den na ye oye otumiko classes ana
go classes me na me pay fe ni say teacher man na go classes
one na utua ma teacher e che na de bio aden
madam Anderson, because the way and your man there cost no who soon. As I may pay a fan say, man.
Okay, Auntie, Nana Kufado, why are there?
Ni husu, a chance of first and tissa. I said, Yama, Yamamway, the turn kwa ye, papa. Instead of it, there are 7 cities, says I got 20 cities a number.
Nananya, Quine, so I quine bro, best of 4,000 kilometers of road. Mumpe quine.
Says I won't cry. Say uncle baby, stay and dear wire. No more free crassy by the almost a year quiet. Fine, why ye? And so as a son, Yaman will be my. I just say, Brower,
because first you say, almost mamma, one yashi, and your quine and I bed you, and your quine I bed you, Sika, and I pay your bottom, says, you go to woman are short into your bomodiana or massacre any day, and bring Mukakramai.
All right. Well, you've heard from the traders here at the Nima markets complaining about every challenge possible. They are not impressed with the implementation of the free SHS because they say they are spending more than they were when, secondary education was not free. And, well, yes, you may have constructed roads, but if it doesn't reflect in their pockets where they have money, then what's the point in constructing the roads? A lot of concerns as well.
Yo, my dear.
They also touched on e-levy and, they are not happy with that. She says that she has withdrawn all her money from her Momo account because she's not ready to pay that e-levy charge. So these are concerns, very genuine concerns by
Wow, reality check, reality on the ground. I think that some of these conversations are important so that duty bearers get to understand what the frustrations of the people really are.
Yeah.
And this morning I'm thinking deeply about tomato and pepper sellers. How rapidly their stuff rot, and how people who are food producers now or people who prepare food actually opt for the rotten tomatoes and onions.
And they said
pepper.
it.
Yes.
You remember when I interviewed that woman as well? Yeah.
Because you see, if a bowl of food costs 10 Ghana cedis at your regular joint, and now you go and the woman says 15, and you complain and she says, okay, 12, she will find ways and means to cook it for you anyway.
Exactly.
But is it wholesome? Is it wholesome? That's the conversation. So, like Professor Amensa and Dr. Edusako, they said, your personal inflation, the things on your dining table, they are becoming expensive by the day.
Yeah.
Expensive by the day.
They are. And for me, what worried me was the woman's narration of how much she's paid so far for free SHS. Because in the past, when it wasn't free, she'd pay some 700 Ghana cedis and everything is inclusive. At least you buy a few things, but it will not be as high.
Right.
But now, her second child, she had to pay 2,500 cedis extra. Because they say no school fees because it's free. But I'm buying things worth 2,500 for my child. Then what's the point in free SHS?
You know the total spend, I think, for free SHS for every child is about 1,000, 3,500-ish for the whole year. Now, the conversation as to whether parents should be included in the running of a free SHS has become more critical now. I believe that free SHS is good, and I've said it always. But it's the populism and the politics of it that is destroying it. Let's face facts. When we all went to school, if a dormitory or a house required irons, they just tell your PTA and they say, oh, the girls need irons, the boys need irons. And then they put together some level of crowdfunding and they get the irons for you. The boys need cutlasses, the boys need this, and they get it together.
And they do.
Now, if the school population has 5,000 children, all 5,000 of them have to bring pressing irons to school. All 5,000 of them have to bring hose and cutlasses. And you're wondering how the dormitories are getting bent. Because if Bella switches on an iron, I also switch on my, so Bella knows that my father could also afford it.
Exactly.
You know, and the conversations about accessibility to the children.
Yeah.
The children were taken to schools, not prisons. So why the hell can't parents visit their children in school? Because you do not obviously have food at the buffer stock. The children are not getting the full complement of the kind of food they need to have in order to improve their brain power to be able to absorb the compressed system you're giving them. So open the schools up. Let parents cook home cho and go and give to their children.
Which is what used to happen in the past.
It does happen. I don't know why. Because we have eased the restrictions everywhere. We are opening the borders. We have airports is cleared. You know, we are not wearing masks. People can shake hands. People do this, do that, everything else. But the children leave home knowing all these conditions and having been used to all these things, going to church and mosque and whatever, all the places in between, and they go to school and they restrict them. But they are not in prison. They are in school. The children are not in prison. They are in school. So this Saturday, if for want of a better expression, a school doesn't have food and they have only rice. So they do rice porridge in the morning. They do jollof rice in the afternoon. They do plain rice in the evening. The next morning they say, okay, oblayo is heavy, so no bread. So they just eat oblayo with milk. And then in the afternoon they find some banku and something and eat. At weekends, allow parents to prepare some nice jollof or some nice wachi or some nice fufu and bring to their children to eat.
Rice balls.
Yeah, for whatever it is. I mean, allow the parents to bring. It happened when we were in school. It happened when, and I always say that there are people in this country today who are at the helm of affairs, who went to secondary school for free, who went to university for free. And even at the university, they were being fed with chicken. They went on a demonstration and said they wanted fish. For free. They had stoves in their halls, in their rooms, electric stoves. People have enjoyed free in this country before. And these same people are chief directors, they are this, they are that, they are that. And we're messing up the kids.